Here are 4 common beliefs from Christian relationships that we do not practice.
Number 1 is getting married early.
We both went to Christian colleges, so that's something that we saw often. And I think we should start off by saying we don't think that it's shameful or wrong to get married young. What we are saying is rushing into marriage specifically for the sake of trying to maintain your virginity just to lose your virginity in marriage. Like getting married quickly just to have sex is not a good reason to get married.
Paul does talk about it is better to marry than to burn, right? So that's valid. But at the same time, like Naomi said, if you're rushing into a marriage before you're ready financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, all these different things, right? It's important to be prepared beforehand into something that's bigger than just you, but can impact your future children, your community, and more importantly, serving the Lord.
Number 2 is purity culture.
And this one is really big in the church, where we don't necessarily talk a lot about sex. It's kind of taboo, but at the same time, whenever it does come up, it always comes from a place of shame and demeaning people.
We know that God has given all of us a natural, I don't want to say an urge to merge. But I think one of the main problems is that in the church, they don't address the questions that people have. Oftentimes, anytime a question is brought up, it's immediately turned to shame. Like, why are you thinking that? Why is your mind there? And because of that, people often go to places where they will find answers to their questions. And if you can't find your answers to your questions in the church, people go out into the world, and then we make choices that are not designed from God.
Number 3 is traditional gender roles.
Oftentimes people always resort to the passage of the Bible that says women submit to your husbands. And we believe everything in the Word of God is true. But we do know that submission is a word that oftentimes people don't really know the meaning of, and that's the only part of the passage that people focus on.
And a lot of times when the word submission comes up in a relationship, in a marriage, it always comes down to, oh, my wife needs to cook and clean for me. Our views of gender roles should not always be super physically focused, but really rooted in the Word of God and be spiritual focused. Both the man and the woman serve each other as they are serving the Lord.
And number 4 is avoiding relationships altogether to only focus on God.
Jesus himself did talk about that some people have been made eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom. And Paul also talks about how for some people who have been given the grace, it is better not to marry so that you can serve the Lord with your whole heart.
But for other people who don't have that and who God has given them the desire to be in relationship, trying to avoid that desire or trying to separate yourself from that which was within you just to focus on God is actually not really focusing on Him if He's put that desire within you to be in relationship and to be in community with other people.